I'd like to call to order the joint meeting of the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education and the Board of Regents. I'd like to welcome everyone, and we'll begin with a roll call, please, starting with the Board of Regents.
Here. 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 Here.
Regent Lipsy is absent. Regent Markle is absent. Regent Martin.
Here.
Regent Stream is absent. Regent Temple is absent. Regent Wiley.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Bessie, roll, please.
Yes, sir. Bessie Member Beebe.
Present.
Bessie Member Beebe is present. Bessie Member Bofi.
Here.
Bessie Member Bofi is present. Bessie Member Bradford.
Here.
Bessie Member Bradford is present. Bessie Member Garvey.
Here.
Bessie Member Garvey is present. Bessie Member Gio.
Here.
Bessie Member Gio is present. Bessie Member Harris.
Here.
Bessie Member Harris is present. Bessie Member Hill is absent today. Bessie Member Moranti.
Present.
Bessie Member Moranti is present. Bessie Member Orange Jones.
Present.
Bessie Member Orange Jones is present. Bessie Member Romer.
Here.
Bessie Member Romer is present. And Bessie Member Smith.
Here.
Bessie Member Smith is present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll approve the minutes quickly, and then I was going to invite Chairman Martin to say hello to his group, and along with a few others. So I'd like to have someone make a motion for the approval of the minutes of June 18th, 2014. We have a motion and a second. Any objection? Any discussion? Hearing none, so moved. Next item?
Yes, sir. Item 4.1.
Oh, 3.2, I'm sorry. I didn't do both minutes. My bad, as usual. Approval of the minutes of December 11th, 2014. We need a motion for that as well. There's a motion and a second. Motion by Ms. Bradford, second by Mr. Gio. Is there any objection? Any discussion? Hearing none, so moved. Before we go to item 4, I'd like to invite Chair Martin to welcome everyone and give any remarks he might like to give.
Thank you, President Romer. I appreciate it. And welcome, everyone. Welcome, Regents, to the joint meeting. I think they are hosting this year. We hosted last year. And this is a very important meeting because we owe it to our students in Louisiana to be joined at the hip between K through 12 education and LCTCS and the four-year universities. It is incumbent upon us to make sure that every child has a pathway to a great job. And I think we, as a community, the BESE board and the Regents, have to ensure that that pathway exists. We have just finished the annual fight about money. And so now it is time to get together and to really focus on the job that we are here to do. So thank you, President Romer, for this joint meeting, and I hope the cooperation exists, and this year it has been in the past.
Thank you. Commissioner, I know you may want to say hello as well, and certainly would like to invite you to do that.
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is my first meeting. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a sort of exhilarating 5 months that I've been here, but it's been fun. I grew up in New York City. Both my parents were school teachers in the New York City public school system, so I've always been both involved in and sometimes in awe of the individuals who have that responsibility at that level. But as our chair said, our pledge really is to make it seamless between the K through 12, the community and technical colleges and the universities. And at the end of the day, just as it says on your front cover, the purpose is to graduate those students who can compete in a global market, and that's really what it's all about, the ability to be successful. And I look forward to this meeting and working with everybody over the future. So thank you.
I will say that's one of the few speeches where the crickets actually started. I don't want to. I might give you another shot at that. No, thank you for your remarks very much, and certainly would like to invite Superintendent White. I know we have some presentations coming, but if there are any introductory, you want to go straight to the items? Okay, great. Let's go to the next item, please.
Yes, sir. Item 4.1, consideration of updates to the Weighted Taylor Opportunity Program for students, TOPS, grade point average, GPA, approved list of courses. Superintendent White.
Thank you. Members, everything that I say today, Commissioner, I appreciate your allusion to this as well, will be grounded in the idea that we have together strived for a seamless system of opportunity in education. And one of the things that you have done and that your staff has done is to support the idea of courses that are particularly challenging college preparatory courses that kids can take in high school and can earn weighted credit toward their top scholarship when they take them past those courses, meaning no longer would a student have any reason to not take a challenging course so as to pad their GPA. We want them to take challenging courses, and they get a greater reward for it in their GPA. These include advanced placement classes. Because of the policy you passed, our state is the fastest improving state in America on advanced placement courses. This includes dual enrollment courses, and we're seeing increases by the thousands every year, including 27,000 dual enrollment courses last year. It has not historically included classes that are administered by the Louisiana school in Natchitoches, nor by NOCA in New Orleans, and those schools have special curricula. We're asking you today to approve weighted credit for appropriate college-level courses that are taught at LSMSA and at NOCA. It's a technical fix that was left out of the original framework that you have promulgated. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Certainly would welcome any questions or comments by any member. So I believe the action we need to do is to approve this item.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a motion to approve? Second. There's a motion and a second. Motion by Ms. Bophy, second by Mr. Garvey. Is there any objection? Any discussion? Hearing none, so moved. Next item.
Yes, sir. Item 4.2, consideration of an update regarding the 2015 regular legislative session. Superintendent White.
Thank you. And I would certainly invite anyone to provide a higher education perspective. I do want to say that our own funding battles, Chairman Martin, kind of came down to the last couple of days, but were pretty quiet. Yours were fought valiantly over the course of several months, and I want to offer personally my gratitude to all of you who stood up for our state's support of higher education, because you really are the shining lighthouse that our kids in K-12 education aspire to, and we would not have a successful K-12 education system if there is nothing for our younger students to aspire to. I thank you for keeping that light burning bright, and I congratulate you on all successes during this legislative session. I'm also proud to say that our legislature committed to additional funds for our K-12 education system as well, making that a priority. And that included, I think, something that has gone generally unnoticed, which is that the legislature and BESE over the last 3 years have earmarked specific funds under Chairman Guillot of the MFP Task Force's leadership for dual enrollment coursework, meaning that there are courses that if families choose to take in LCTCS, UL, Southern, or LSU systems, kids in high school now have a specifically dedicated, a constitutionally dedicated funding stream to follow that young man or woman to that institution of higher learning. The legislature also this year saw fit to grow that. They grew it by $2.5 million, which I believe will translate from 27,000 to 35,000 dual enrollment courses funded by the MFP. That's something that this BESE and this legislature, working with you at the Regents, have accomplished. It has never been done before, and it's a huge step forward. It will fuel primarily Jumpstart. And Chairman Martin and I were just talking about Jumpstart, but just to rehash for you, certainly no news to anyone on this committee, we have a system or a state where we have 20% of our individuals who have a four-year university degree. For generations, our K-12 system, and certainly to some degree our higher ed system, have not fully acknowledged, in my view, the plan that is necessary for the other 80%. And while we want to grow, as you do, and you are growing, the number of graduates in our four-year institutions, which is a proper pathway to the middle class, we have to have a pathway to the middle class for all young men and women, and certainly for all adults in your system as well. Jumpstart is our program to get kids the industry credentials and the college credit that they need to be employable and have a pathway in the middle class through our technical workforce. In our energy industry, in our transportation industry, in our healthcare and hospitals, in our engineering and construction trades and others. And I believe that Jumpstart will not be a boutique program within our K-12 system. I believe it will be the new normal in our K-12 education system. And for as powerful a brand as TOPS is, we have to have families understand that Jumpstart is an equal opportunity, that it is a viable pathway to the middle class, We cannot sustain the youth unemployment that we have in our state, and particularly in our urban centers, any longer. We have done 3 things together with you and your staff this session to ensure that Jumpstart grows and thrives so that it is no longer in the single thousands, but it is in the hundreds of thousands of participants. First, and I think most significantly, House Bill 462 by Representative Cox, and this is important for all of your purposes, now aligns the Jumpstart diploma with TOPS Tech, meaning if you take the Jumpstart diploma path, you have earned TOPS Tech if you have an appropriate GPA and an ACT score of 17. That is a tremendous step forward because it means that counselors can now say to someone, you can pursue a technical diploma in high school and earn a college scholarship that is admissible within LCTCS programs across our state. That's a huge step forward, and I really thank you and your staff for working with us, Regents and BESE, for your support of that. Secondly, Representative 546, your staff at the Regents worked intensively on. This would allow for not just programs that have traditionally been considered TOPS Tech eligible, but also AS programs that may have historically not been considered TOPS Tech eligible, now TOPS Tech eligible. And just to give you a couple of examples, if you have a student who out of high school has earned a workforce safety or a manufacturing specialist credential, that student could now pursue an AS degree in energy or in petrochemical processing at, say, SLCC or an AS at Nicholls State, for example. Those courses would not have generated that TOPS Tech funding for those higher ed credentials before. Now they do. This is because this bill allows you to approve these programs, but it also allows the Workforce Investment Council to approve these programs of study. That's a good partnership that brings industry into the process, and we're very grateful to the Regents for their support. These are just a couple of the ways in which we've aligned ourselves even further during this legislative session, but let me paint a picture for you as this BESE closes its term and as this legislature and governor close their term. We came into this 4-year session with a very discombobulated TOPS, TOPS Tech, TOPS University Diploma, and Career Diploma. We now have a system where every Louisiana high school student will choose a pathway, be it a university preparatory pathway, be it a career jumpstart pathway, or be it both. And every one of them will leave having either completed the TOPS core or having an industry-based credential and be TOPS Tech eligible. Every graduate. That's a huge step forward for ensuring economic opportunity for those young people and for the future of our state, and I'm very grateful to the Regents staff, to the Board of Regents, to BESE staff, and to the department for having worked to achieve that accomplishment. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time.
Superintendent, really appreciate your remarks. Certainly, I'm certain others probably have a comment or a question. Would certainly welcome that now. If anyone, I know this is not a bashful group. You wouldn't be up here if you were. So, does anybody have a question or a comment? I will start off by saying we really appreciate, BESE appreciates the work the Regents have done. Superintendent, we truly appreciate the work that you have done. I have served 2 terms on BESE, and I will say that I've seen us 7.5 years ago, where we really kind of operated in silos. There was not as much discussion and cooperation as I think we all knew we needed. I would like to thank John and the board of Regents for really over the course of the last 4 years really having developed a cooperation that is almost seamless now. And if you add to that the fact that BESE now is handling early childhood, not just K through 12, and we made significant progress this week in that regard, you're starting to see a system that's addressing the needs of students basically from birth through their job. And I think that's a step in the right direction. The coordination will lead to more effective implementation, lead to better use of our dollars. I would say our challenge going forward, and I would certainly challenge the next BESE board and the Board of Regents as we continue, is we've got to stabilize higher ed funding in this state. It can't be a yearly battle. We need to have a long-term plan that ultimately leads to higher ed being funded properly, and stable so that they can plan appropriately. It's impossible to plan the quality of higher ed that we would want to have in this state by every year having to roll the dice to see how we're going to fund our colleges. So I appreciate the work you've done. I think we've made remarkable progress in terms of a cohesive plan, and I think there's good work coming forward. So I appreciate that.
Mr. President, thank you very much. I echo your remarks about a consistent stream for higher education, because having your budget known June the 11th for classes on July the 1st is just no way to run a railroad. And so we're going to have to do something about that in our next session. But Superintendent White, I've got maybe a question for you. My company, we hire hundreds of people a year, and that means thousands of interviews. And one thing that we're seeing that is a real possibility is in the high schools, getting these students, not just through the Jump Start, but getting them an associate degree or some type of technical degree, either, especially with high schools with block systems, that they have a lot of time, getting that degree at the time of graduation or maybe a semester before. I've been working with Monty Sullivan to try to compress some of these industrial arts type curriculums to get that so these young people can be job ready at 18 or 18 and a half years old. And what are your comments about that?
Well, I think this is an extremely important question, and to those of you who I hope are continuing to work on this in the next term, I would urge us to consider that right now we have just scratched the surface, Commissioner, I believe, in terms of the overlap of the K-12 system. As President Romer mentions, we've created a system where it is certainly a possibility to achieve a technical diploma, which is essentially halfway to an associate's degree, while you are still in high school. However, we have not created a situation where that is the norm, and we've not created one where kids are going even further than that, as you allude to. I truly believe that there is no reason why students cannot be taking higher education level coursework, be it technical or be it academic in nature, for the bulk of their final 2 years in high school. I believe we should push for that, not just for their sake, but for the sake of our state's finances. And I believe that this is the next stage of work. The good news is you have created, BESE, a diploma structure, and higher education, you have created a dual enrollment environment where those things are entirely possible. We have the tools. It's just a question of, are we willing to let old norms be gone and to sit down and create a system that is more efficient and more ambitious? And I believe that's entirely doable if we're willing to change the way we do business.
Thank you.
Mr. Garvey.
Yes, to follow up on the theme that we're talking about now, the feedback that I'm getting from teachers these days, most of it centers on the Jump Start program, which is what we're talking about. And all of it that focuses on the Jump Start is positive. The teachers are excited about what we're doing and how we're helping the students, and I wanted to pass that on to you guys. And I think that it is, the excitement about the program is reflected in the fact that we got extra money out of the legislature this year for the program. In a year where there was anywhere people will say $800 million to a $1.5 billion deficit, the legislature saw fit to put extra money into this Jump Start program, and I think that is evidence of the success that we're having and that we will have as we move forward. So thank you for the support on that program.
Regent Farr.
Superintendent, I would like both groups going forward to take a little more time and focus and educate our students early on, junior high, high school, to overcome the stigma of community technical colleges and what that used to mean versus what it means today, and to educate these children on what this means to get a job and to be a productive citizen and not weigh on the system. And if we'll just back that up a little bit and get rid of that stigma to where these young folks pursue the paths that they can go down and know that that's the only paths they can go down as regards to higher education, whether it be community technical or 4-year. And I really want us to work hard on that, because I still think as goes from my generation to the younger generation, that stigma still lays out there, and I think we're unaware with it, especially on the lower income folks that really need to get that education and to do something with it to
Yes.
be a productive citizen for the state.
And to mark off of what Regent Farr has alluded to, we have, I hope everyone will stick around, we have a presentation on that very subject by the Louisiana Workforce Education Initiative group that I'm part of, and a bunch of business leaders are part of, that are doing a marketing campaign across the state for that very, very thing. And that'll be at 10:30 this morning in this room.
May I make just one quick point, Regent Farr, on this? And I think this is so important. I know that many of you are business owners or operators. I had someone recently tell me that it would be great if we could have a system like the Northern Europeans have of apprenticeships and internships, but manufacturing is just not part of the American culture anymore. And I have to tell you that when I'm out talking with kids and business leaders in communities, I just don't find that to be the case in Louisiana, that we must accept that there is some kind of cultural prohibition on employment and workforce environments being involved in the K-12 education system. I don't accept that. I think it's that we haven't done enough to create internships and apprenticeship opportunities so that kids can see what really goes on in the workplace. And I believe that calling on the business community to help us create those kinds of experiences is another next step that we must take, and that those experiences must be eligible for high school and for college credit. And we really have to think not just about our two education systems, but about, and of course, Chairman Martin, you are the prime example at Woodworks of this, but of our places of work as educational environments also.
Anyone else? Dr. Beebe.
I do concur with the gentleman who made the comments about we have to do more in the way of educating parents and students to the opportunities provided through the technical courses or technical path. Just recently, we in St. Martin Parish met with parents, and the majority of the parents have elected to push their children to the college pathway. And, you know, of course, we continue, and it's part of our mission as a school district to educate those parents that the opportunities are there if they take the technical pathway. I also recognize, too, as we move forward with this initiative, that we need the support of the business community, because in St. Martin Parish, a district I represent as superintendent, the challenge is staffing the career centers with the quality people, because we can't afford to pay them comparable to the salaries they receive in the workplace in their industries. So, you know, if we could establish a partnership where the business community would contribute, like, for example, if welders are needed, then we network with the welding community, the welding career, the opportunities there to get them, you know, if we know a company needs welders, if they would come in and partner, look, we would provide you with resources that would help you achieve this for our students. So it's, we need to continue the discussions, but again, I think the initiative is a wonderful opportunity. So as we move forward, we need to continue the discussions to see how we can make it work effectively.
Thank you, Dr. Beebe. Anyone else? I'd like to thank the superintendent for his report. I think we need to receive the report officially. If we can have a motion to receive the report. There's a motion and there's a second. Any objection? Hearing no objection, so moved. That concludes our meeting. I would like to ask, I don't want to be rude, but I need every member, if you would like to visit, to please visit in the ante room, because we have to get ready for our BESE meeting, which I've now been told we need to be finished at 10:30, which is good news for us. So, so again, appreciate everybody. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you.